Investigation 2.2, Selecting a Sample. Making accurate predictions about a population based on a sample can be complicated, even when you are interested in a relatively small population. Suppose you're doing some research at the lives of students at Prairie Point. You would like to answer these questions. How many hours of sleep do students get each night, and how many movies do students watch each week? If your school has a large population, which we do, it might be difficult to gather and analyze data from every student. So talk to your partner, pause the video, and talk about how could we select a sample from our school that would truly represent everybody in the school. What size of a sample do you think you need? Who would be in that sample? And how would you go about asking those people? And how would you choose which people to ask? Pause the video and talk about that with your partner, and then we can move on to the questions. In the book, Miss Rue's class wants to conduct this survey about hours spent sleeping and watching movies. They plan to survey students in their school. The class divides into 4 groups. Each group devises a plan for sampling the school population. In group number 1, each group member will survey the students who ride his or her school bus. In group number 2, they will survey every 4th person in the cafeteria line. Group number 3 will post a notice in the morning announcements asking for volunteers to answer the survey. Group number 4 will randomly select 30 students for their survey from a list of 3-digit student ID numbers. They will label faces of a 10-sided solid with numbers 0 through 9 and then roll it 3 times to generate each number to choose the 30 students, so it'll be completely random. Question A says, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each sampling plan? Pause the video and talk about that with your partner. Write your full answer in your book. You should have at least one advantage and disadvantage for each group, if not more. Question B. Which plan do you think will lead to the most accurate predictions for the students in the whole school? So which sample is going to best represent the school? Explain your answer. Why did you choose that one? Question C. The 4 sampling plans are examples of common sampling methods. Group 1's plan is an example of convenience sampling. What do you think convenience sampling is? Describe another plan that would use convenience sampling. So why is group number 1's plan convenient? And what would be another way to conveniently plan a sample? Group's 2 plan is an example of systematic sampling. What do you think systematic sampling is? That word systematic, what does systematic mean? Where does that really come from, and how do you think it relates to Group 2's plan? And then describe another plan that would use systematic sampling. Group 3's plan is an example of voluntary response sampling. What do you think voluntary response sampling is? What do you think? How do you think that relates to Group number 3's sample plan? Describe another plan that you would use to get voluntary response sampling. And finally, Group 4's plan is an example of random sampling. What do you think random sampling is? Describe another plan that would use random sampling. Question D. Jamal thinks Group 1 and Group 3's plan may not give samples that are likely to predict what is typical of the population. Do you agree or disagree? So why do you agree with Jamal, or why do you disagree with Jamal? Why do you think Jamal chose Group 1 and Group 3 as sampling plans that would not represent a true population? Again, when you're done with this investigation, check in with me and we'll see, we'll talk about your answers and we'll see if you can go on to investigation 2.3.